if somebody wants to try it out in one of the labs, you know, feel free, you can test it out. We've also linked it to Google Glass to have a voice interface to it as well, where the Google Glass connects to the server on there. The Glass does its translation of what you're saying. You can say things like turn motor 1, turn motor 2 to sort of twist you around. Sorts of things you can do with Amazon Echo for that. So, let's say really just a demo there. The other thing I wanted to just sort of go over was some things in the assignment and some sort of typical issues that people might be having. Now there are some things for the assignment that I put up already on Moodle. And you should have received these automatically inside an email to it. They're all up on the forums if they're not on the main Moodle page. You can see that section down the right-hand side is about things that have just sort of come out about help with the assignment or common how-tos and things like that. I'm more than willing to help people in the assignment with it to help either debug things or give an opinion on what you've done so far. If you are asking about debugging, please check things like some of those common problems first. It can be a bit annoying if you're asking me to do something that you've already been mentioned somewhere, and particularly in labs where we've got 30 odd people trying to get me attention, and then there's somebody who's still trying to catch up with lab 1, saying, can you help me with this thing in lab 1? I'd at least like you to look through some of these things, but there's some common problems that you should definitely check before asking. Too small to see there, but just as a prompt. Let me enlarge it now. But I do realise that as the deadline gets closer for you, people start getting a bit more stressed, inside, and things get a bit blown out of proportion. So if you do send me a problem, explain what the problem is. I've had it even just over the weekend. A couple of people have written to me saying, "I've got a problem. Can you help me?" And then I don't know. Is it personal? Is it programming? What's the sort of? Is it financial? And then you end up having a little email interchange where they seem determined not to actually say what the problem is. If you can give me as much information as possible at first, then often I can sort of direct you straight to what the solution is. And that will generally mean send me the code that you've got, or if it's too big to email, send me a link to where the code is that I can download, and send me a screenshot of the error message. Because many of these problems are the same problem over and over again. And I've tried to issue a few of the typical problems that you get inside, say, Android. If I can just show you where you might find some of these in Android as well. In Android Studio, and again I've mentioned this to many people, make sure you have the Android monitor open, because that's where lots and lots of your errors are actually reported. It does mean you have to do some reading. You actually have to look at that error message and try and understand what it's saying. But so many of them are network related, and you'll see that in the sort of demo. So we'll just sort of bring up one of the examples. The Android monitor is this thing here at the bottom. Sort of lag it up now. Nothing connected just yet. I'll start up the AVD. Show you what that sort of monitor looks like. the Android monitors, this thing was just trundling away there. Now that's all the errors that are reported from your Android screen being sent across to that. That's just picking up on anything that that Android device is saying. Now most of it you can ignore to it, because here it's sort of booting up and finding problems with certain things, or just reporting on some. Initially you think, oh God, there's a load of sort of problems there. You want something really to target just your information. You'll get an idea here in the log about who said something with this sort of identifier, this I/dex2alt or e/cutils-trace. That's who's passed that message. So cutils trace passes message, error opening trace file, permission denied. Now that's some sort of system process we're working in that we can sort of safely ignore. What you really want is something that says what your messages are coming through. And that's what that tag is, that you might have seen in some bits of code. You can either do it through a print line, do things like log messages. I don't think I sort of put that in there. You can use a log interface, do log.i for an information, or .w for a warning, depending on what you want. And you supply two strings. The first string is an identifier to you, to which part of the program you're testing. Sometimes in my examples you might have seen a string called a tag that's been put in there. And then the second one is the actual message that comes through. So you may say, for example, define a tag, a string tag at the top to be Nick's Phidget app. And then you can log.i, whatever that tag is, and something like starting the program or button clicked. These are just simple little debug things that will enable you to identify whereabouts you are in the sort of program. Because you often don't know whether or not you've actually sent a message to the server, because we're trying to get here several things talking to each other. You're trying to get Phidgets talking to a Java application, which talks to a server, which talks to a database, which talks back to your server, which talks out to your Android app. So there's something like 6 or 7 pieces of software that are all trying to communicate. And that can be really hard to debug, that sort of thing, because you don't know where the error message is coming from. So you can help nail it down and decide, is a problem in my Android software or your sort of client software, whichever, by using a logger to say that sort of thing, and it'll appear then, that message appears with your ID of who sent it, and then that sort of message coming through. And also you can then filter it. You can put a filter in that says what that only tell me messages that are coming from Nick's Phidget program. So you only actually see yours coming through. But you'll often see a list of messages, and these are the things to look out for. In our case, there's no sort of necessary problem, because there's nothing connected, or perhaps. Let me just see if I can force run this one. Slow responding. Just tell whatever it is to run on there. Bit hard to see, but you'll get the usual bit of it running sort of quite slowly. The Gradle build running, and then we start to get messages coming through as you're sending it over, going out. eventually something, there we go, I've got an information message at the top and it says retrieving data. So at some point in my code, I put a little info log.i, the tag saying it says, and at that point I know that I'm possibly sort of going off to sort of get that data for it. Now at those points as well, you may try to actually run your software. Now this one's going to give up in a second. Let's just see it online. Just trying to swipe to get that running. I think somehow I've started a camera there and it's not sort of going to work. Anyway, let's just ignore that in the background if you can. In this case, this thing's probably going to fail because I've not got my server running. And it would eventually sort of crash out and say something like file not found. But at this point you can also do things like I've told it to